Hey everybody, welcome back to the Storytime channel. My name is Steven, and let's get into our stories of the day. Stop screaming at me, lady, I don't work for this pool. So a little background information. I work as a teacher, part-time at a regular high school, social studies, and I work part-time with refugees of all different ages. We get a lot of different refugees and we try to split them up in different levels based on past education/past jobs, their knowledge of our language and society, and the amount of time they can and want to spend on the lessons. For example, a mother of 5 might not have as much time as a young adult without children. So 2 days a week I teach these people about our society, but also things like finding a job, how to arrange things with the government, and other problems they might encounter. Now, besides the standard things like language, social studies, etc., we also offer some other things, for example, swimming lessons. We have a deal with a pool walking distance from the school, so once a week the students that need and want to can learn to swim after their regular lessons. The first few weeks of a term, one of us teachers will walk with them to the pool and will stay for the first 15 to 20 minutes of the lesson to help or support them. Keep in mind that the students are adults who usually don't need much help. Now, for the actual I don't work here lady moment. I had walked with the students to the pool and was sitting on a bench close by. One student was quite nervous, so I stayed a little longer just in case she needed support. The lesson went well, so I was on my phone going through emails and students' social media. That might sound creepy and stalkerish, but I actually use social media for assignments because it is a very vital part of society nowadays. In comes Karen. I was told later that she had tried to sign her son up for private lessons, but there were no instructors available at the time slot she wanted, so the son had his lessons in a group. Gasps and shock. Apparently Karen had seen me helping/cheering on some of the students before I sat down. She came up to me and immediately asked what I was doing. I tried to explain to her that I was working, but she cut me off. Shouldn't you be paying attention to the students? And aren't 2 instructors a bit much for such a small group? Again, I tried to explain that I'm not a swim instructor, but just there to guide the students. She wasn't having any of it. If I was just sitting there, I had to have time to teach her son in private, and how I was just lazy and rude for refusing her earlier. Again, I told her, I don't work at this pool, but she just kept going with her rant. Eventually, the actual swim instructor came up to me and told me the lesson was going well, and if I wanted, I could go back to the school. Karen immediately jumped in asking what she meant. The instructor looked at her confused, because why was she there? And told her I was their regular teacher that walked them here and stayed because it was the first class. I have never seen someone backpedal as fast as Karen in that moment. She got red, stammered a bit about how the instructor should pay attention to her class, and left her quickly. So fast that the instructor called, "No running in the pool," which made her even more red. I had to laugh at that point and explain to the instructor what happened. She laughed as well. So that was my encounter with a wild Karen. What are your guys' theories for why these Karens don't understand what you say? OP clearly said multiple times that they don't work there. Why do you think it is these Karens just don't understand that? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm sorry, I don't work for your building, madam, but I'll chat with you. Sitting in the engineering office, hammering away on the computer and the phone rings. My company, OP speaking. An elderly woman in a quavering voice begins telling me that the waste management company makes so much noise outside her apartment that she cannot sleep, and would I please do something about it? It took a while, but I eventually convinced the poor dear that she had misdialed, and I looked up the right number and had her write it down. And then she told me about our grandchildren, I told her about my children, and we had a lovely chat. And a few days later she called again, just wanting to chat. She called at least once a week for a couple of years until she stopped. That was almost 20 years ago and I still miss her. I hope her grandchildren visited her more. Look, buddy, we came to these stories to hear Karens get shut down, not to get in our feels about grandmas having a very wholesome moment on the phone with a phone support person, but in all honesty, that was a really cute story. I won't take your card. I don't work here, lady. Ayo, I've enjoyed this sub for a long time, but I've never really had anything to share. I've been mistaken for employees in various places multiple times, but overall, those interactions usually end fine, with a, "Oh, I'm sorry," from whoever asked. Easy peasy. Wednesday, I had my first semi-aggressive encounter. I was in the parking lot at Target, getting ready to enter the store to make a return. I was dressed for work still, but I don't think I could have been mistaken for an employee in what I was wearing, which was a pair of dark blue high-waisted pants and a red sheer blouse. I'm still wearing my name tag for the unrelated company I work for. Not exactly your typical Target red polo/tee and khaki slacks. The store was busy, so I parked towards the back. I was heading towards the cart corral, so I didn't have to carry the return box all the way into the store from the back spaces. As I'm headed over that way, a lady flagged me down and asked if I wanted her cart as she had just finished. I thanked her, wiped it down with my pocket bacterial wipes, and was getting ready to walk back the 3 spaces to my own car. Just then, the lady in the car next to her pushes her cart next to mine and starts to walk away. I just ignored her and headed towards my car as she got in her own, which had a giant LuLaRoe sign in the window. I should have taken it as a sign. She noticed I didn't take her card with me and she rolled down her window. The following exchange occurred. "Excuse me." Me pausing and turning around. "Pardon?" "Are you gonna take my card? If you leave it there, someone is going to hit it with their car." Me still not understanding. "I have to haul in my return items quickly so I can pick up my son, so I can't take it for you, sorry." "If someone hits it, it will be your butt." "You left it in the middle of the lot. If you're worried about it, put it away." "Excuse me?" I walked to my car, caught my box, and hauled butt inside because it was freaking hot. Got done, and then I stopped at Starbucks, and I turned and looked through the glass, and who was it coming in through the double doors? Witchy lady. She is hauling butt to customer service, and I still have no idea she thinks I work there, because my dumb butt gets my coffee at a leisurely pace and starts walking towards the exit. I assume the customer service people told her I didn't work there because she huffed over to me and said, "You know, you could have told me you didn't freaking work here." "Okay, I don't work here." Freak off. Now, all in all, that exchange is not the worst, right? I thought, meh, this is hardly Reddit worthy, and I moved on. But she called and complained about me at my actual job. She asked to speak to the manager of OP's first name, and they told her that there are actually 3 of those people here. And she said, "The dark-skinned one." She must have seen my name tag to realize I didn't work there. My manager is the executive director of human resources. She just called me up this morning to ask me about it. She said a woman called in and complained that I was rude to her in the Target parking lot while I was on the clock. I wasn't. I asked my manager what she said I did that was so rude. My manager just laughed and said that I wouldn't offer to take her card for her, and then refused to tell her I didn't work for Target. I explained, which I didn't have to, my manager is cool as freak, and she just laughed it off. The only bit of advice she said was, "Next time, take off your name tag, then you can totally call her out with no repercussions." If I was a boss, and I got a call from some random Karen, and they were like, "Oh, your employee didn't take my card for me and then also didn't tell me that they didn't work for the Target." If I wasn't trying to represent the company, I would want to mess with that lady so badly. "I may not work here, Karen, but I'll still drag your butt out." I'm using my throwaway account for this post. I was in the military for a few years, and being in the military, you deal with quite a few, how do I say this nicely, special supervisors. Well, this story is about the special wife of a special supervisor, not my supervisor. I apologize for this being so long, but it's worth the read. Cast: me is me, Karen, 06 is Karen's husband, SF is security forces, military police, SE is store employee, BC is base commander. It was a Tuesday, my day off as I had worked a weekend shift, and I went to the store on base to buy a new Xbox One that had just come out. Obviously, I couldn't buy just the Xbox, I also had to get another controller, headset, and the game I wanted to play. As I was looking through the electronics department, I overheard a conversation between Karen and store employee. I will try to condense it so it isn't so long. Store employee, come here now. Store employee says, how can I help you, ma'am? I want this TV and the best sound system to go with it. Well, based off of XYZ, I would recommend the Samsung sound system. It's the top of the line for its price. How much will it be total? It would be around $1,800 not including tax, $1,700 for the TV, $100 for the sound system. I am not paying that much for this. Give me a discount. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I cannot give you a discount on these items. Do you know who I am? I am Karen, wife of 06, who is the commander of XX Group. Give me a discount or else my husband will have your boss take away your minimum wage job. At this point, I was getting pretty pissed. I hate when military spouses try and use their spouse's rank to get what they want, and the way this lady was talking to this store employee was deplorable. I walked closer to them, acting like I was looking at the TVs that were next to them. Karen was so busy screaming at this guy, she didn't notice me. Karen was wailing for store employee's manager. Store employee tried to explain he is not able to give discounts on these items, and his manager is in a meeting and won't be able to come out and talk to her until he's done. I don't give a shoot where your manager is, I want him out here now. Store employee says, ma'am, I need you to be civil or else I will have to ask you to leave. I will not be civil. You're being a crook and trying to steal money from people by selling overpriced items. For those of you who don't know, military stores are generally the same price, if not cheaper, than other stores, and it's all untaxed. Karen continued to make a scene, threatening store employee with actions against his job. Store employee says, ma'am, I need you to leave. Store employee proceeds to walk towards Karen's cart. Get off my cart, you minimum waged ingrate. Karen proceeds to raise her purse towards store employee in a swinging motion. I step in and grab her purse before she has a chance to hit him. Who the heck do you think you are? Get the heck off me. I am Karen, wife of… Yeah, I know who you are. The whole store knows who you are because of how loud you're being. You were about to assault this employee. He asked you to leave. Now get the freak out of here before I call security forces on you for attempting to assault store employee. I will have my husband take his job and I will make sure you get demoted and lose your pay. Good luck with that. You don't even know who I am. Now leave. Karen then proceeds to take her cart and ram it into my side, pinning my ankle under the cart. She then proceeded to hit me with her purse because I was unable to move out of the way because my ankle was pinned under her cart. At this point, I lost my mind and store employee has had enough of Karen. I push the cart off me, walk over to her and grab her arm, my hand under her armpit. Store employee grabs her other arm, and we proceed to drag her out of the store. As we are dragging her out, she is kicking everything in her reach, knocking stuff off the shelves. How the manager didn't hear any of this, I have no clue. I am calling my husband. You two are in deep shoot. I'll be here shopping for the next 20 minutes. I then walk back inside. Store employee proceeds to thank me profusely and helps me pick out the right stuff for my Xbox. He even gives me an employee discount on the Xbox, which is the best he could do without the manager there. As I walk out of the store 20 minutes later, I hear it. There he is. Karen and 06 storm over to me. 06 says, "Who are you? What is your rank? What squadron are you with?" I am rank OP. I am with the XX squadron. "Who the heck do you think you are assaulting my wife? I'm going to have you demoted, your pay pulled, and I'm calling security forces to have you thrown in jail. I will have you court-martialed for this." With all due respect, sir, your wife tried to assault a store employee and she assaulted me. She's lucky I'm not calling security forces to charge her with assault. "Karen, call security forces now." Security forces show up. 06 tells him that I assaulted his wife and he wants me arrested and thrown in jail pending action. At this point, store employee notices what's happening outside and walks out. He then explains to security forces what happened in the store, and security forces asks if there's video footage. Sure is. He takes them back to the audio room, purposefully taking them through the carnage that Karen caused, and showed them the tapes. Security Forces walks back out. Security Forces says, "Sorry, O6, but the story store employee and OP told checks out. Your wife assaulted them and destroyed store merchandise." "I'm calling your commander, OP, and I'm going to tell him everything. I'm going to make sure he knows how you talked to me and disrespected an officer. I will personally ensure that you get an Article 15. Mysterious voice says, "No, he will not." O6 turns around and sees the base commander standing there with his entourage. Apparently, the base commander was the one in the meeting with the store manager. They were discussing a future influx of personnel due to a new unit being added to the base. He was going to walk out of the store when he heard the commotion. He stood there for a good 45 minutes to an hour listening to what was happening before he made his move. Base commander says, "O6, I want you in my office in 30 minutes in your dress uniform." O6 and Karen walk off. Base commander turns to me. "I'm sorry, Rank OP. I'll make sure to inform your commander about what happened." O6 was removed from his position as XX group commander for his and his wife's conduct. Apparently, he had done other things in the recent past that also put him in hot water, but this was the straw that broke the camel's back. Him and his wife were reassigned to a different base. The last I heard is he was not allowed back into a leadership position and was stripped 2 ranks. Not only was Karen trying to abuse the power her husband gives her, but he was very clearly trying to abuse the power as well. And thankfully, that shouldn't work out and didn't in this case. I was doing my makeup and almost got fired from a job I don't even work at. Thanks, Karen. I got a call from an absolute Karen today. She called my number thinking it was the Windermere Hotel in Arizona, I think. Anyways, she called, I answered, and she was like, "Hi, my reservation got canceled. I want to speak to your manager. I booked this room over a month ago and you guys were expecting me and some of my girlfriends. How could you do this to me?" She was low-key raising her voice and I was like, "I'm sorry ma'am, but I don't work at a hotel. You have the wrong number." She responded with, "Well, how come I called this number a month ago and it was the hotel? How do you have their number then?" And I explained to her that this was never their number. It's just a simple misunderstanding and a typo on her end. So she started raising her voice at me and went, "How could I have dialed the wrong goddamn number? Why are you keeping me from your manager?" And I was like, "Listen, my number has a similar number, but you typed it in wrong. If you would kindly get your head out of your entitled, privileged butt, then maybe you'd be able to see how to type the right freaking number in." She got and hung up. I was dead. Edit, I just want to make this clear. I get these calls all the time since my number is almost exactly the same as the place, except for the area code. But this one by far has been the one that stuck out the most. I feel like calling the wrong number is a very believable thing to do. I don't understand how their brain defaults to, "Why are you trying to hide your manager from me?" Even if you called the right number, that person on the phone wouldn't care if you wanted to speak to their manager. Go ahead, like what does that matter to them? They wouldn't be like trying to secretly hide the manager from them. But with that being said, that's all the stories we have for today. So what I want to know is, which of these stories was your personal favorite of the day and why? Let me know which story and why in the comments section down below. And thank you all so very much for watching and listening to the Storytime channel today. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and don't forget to turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video from the Storytime channel. Thank you all again so very much for watching and listening to the Storytime channel.